And he just kind of offhandedly mentioned, oh, this is this thing called Laravel. You don't need to worry about it, but it's pretty cool. And I thought, if it's cool enough for Jeffrey Way, then I better check it out. I mean, I guess the biggest pitfall, I suppose, is the amount of data that we have. In terms of raw amounts of data, I mean, we deal in billions of rows rather than millions of rows, so yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex.
It's fun. Yeah.
That was awesome. First of all, thank you for making the interview. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question that came to my mind is, how did someone like you came to Laravel in the first place?
How did I come to find the framework?
Yeah, exactly.
Or join the company?
No, how you came to work
To
with
find Laravel?
Yeah.
It was a very long time ago. I was watching a Jeffrey Way tutorial on NetTuts. This is pre-Laracasts. I think it was about regex or Vim or one of these courses, and he happened to mention a Blade file he was working in to demonstrate how a tool worked. And he just kind of offhandedly mentioned, oh, this is this thing called Laravel. You don't need to worry about it, but it's pretty cool. And I thought, if it's cool enough for Jeffrey Way, then I better check it out.
Cool. That's cool. That's nearly every developer story, right?
Such as Jeffrey Way, yeah.
So you've been the team lead of Nightwatch, or you are the team lead of Nightwatch. Was that the biggest challenge, the biggest project you have to handle in your career?
I'd say the biggest in terms of raw amount of data that we've had ever in a database, by far the largest. I've done all sorts of work in police and health and all that maybe had different stakes, but yeah, in terms of raw amounts of data, I mean, we deal in billions of rows rather than millions of rows, so yeah.
So it's in your top 10 of projects you've been doing in your career?
I would say it's probably the most challenging, especially because I've been leading the team as well for the first time in my career. So
that is exciting. What were some of the pitfalls or some of the lessons learned you have experienced or took with you and want to share?
I mean, I guess the biggest pitfall, I suppose, is the amount of data that we have. Not only that we need to store and query quickly in the dashboard, but also the data that's flying at us all the time. So we currently ingest on average about 17,000 rows per second. We have individual database tables that have 35 billion rows at any one time. That's about 18 terabytes of data uncompressed in one table in one region. Those tables exist across regions, and there's about 14 different tables. So yeah, it's definitely little optimizations that normally wouldn't matter in an app really matter in this, because a small optimization, when you multiply it by billions, becomes a big optimization.
So detail is the key.
With this, yeah, I normally would kind of steer people away from over-optimizing things when they don't, it doesn't really make a material difference, but when it does, it's quite important.
Cool, thank you. Thank you for the insight. One of the things I asked myself was, what has happened since last year, June? It was that Nightwatch was revealed. So what have you been up to since then, as a team and you personally?
We've been up to heaps. We've been trying to make sure we put out a lot of new features, the things folks are asking for. We also had to do some behind-the-scenes work. So before we launched, we kind of knew we'd get a lot of data, but we didn't have we seeded a lot of data to test things. But until you have the real data in there, the real usage patterns, you don't know for sure. So we had to make some guesses with our infrastructure, with our database structures, with our indexes, that later on we were like, this wasn't optimal. We kind of, we made the wrong choice, completely understandably, but so we had to kind of go and do some behind-the-scenes reworking to, I guess, pay off some of that technical debt. But then also just working on cool features. I think we launched light mode because we went dark mode first. That was one of our first things. We've done Slack integrations. We've recently done linear integrations, Nightwatch MCP server. We've now got webhook support. So many things I can't even think of right now, but we've just been continually refining and improving it.
So some of the details you just mentioned that
Sure.
you need to take care of. Yeah,
yes.
Cool. So one of the last questions that came to my mind was, what do you would advise to some of the new beginners that want to start with Laravel? What would be your advice to them?
I mean, it's pretty overwhelming getting started in software development these days. Like, I think that should be kind of called out. When I first started, we were just editing a .html file and FTPing it onto a server. Now the layers of abstraction and complexity have increased. But I think all that means is you kind of need to focus at those higher levels of abstraction. I don't know how to write assembly code, for example, but that is kind of, those lower layer things. So I think focus on the layer that's relevant for you at that time. So for Laravel, that would be just learning the framework itself. And you'll learn PHP, I think, through that. But I would start with trying to build something practical, something that excites you, and just gets your hands kind of dirty with all the different features. And read the documentation, like read about all the features. One of the key things is knowing things exist. Because if you don't have to know how it works, you just need to know that it exists so that when you have a problem that tool solves, that's when you know to go deeper on it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.